Doesn't look like it.
Good evening, everybody. It's good to see your faces. I'm so glad you guys are showing your faces. I know Carrie's going to love that too. Hi, Katie. Oh, I was talking to her today. I just have a couple things, and then you get to hear from the important person next to me. But I wanted to talk to you guys real quick. Every Monday morning, Sean and Michelle have their mastermind Zoom for their Pro 5s and up. And it was just a discussion today about July being kind of a down month. So I just wanted to address that for all of you. If you see your numbers a little down this month in July, just please do not get distracted by that. Don't be down on that. Just know that we're kind of all dealing with that right now in the month of July. I know it's a busy, busy month, but also don't let it hold you back from doing what you're supposed to be doing and sharing this and really planting those seeds going into the upcoming months to where this is going to help you get those incentive points for Ireland. And Sean also said too, he said something, he goes, you know, in these next 10, he goes, nope, 9 months. We're already 1 month in to the time period to earn that Ireland trip. So really, I really hope that and pray that you guys have looked at that tracker that Mark Johnson created, that you've plugged in your numbers to know exactly what you need to map it out to get that Ireland trip, you guys, because no matter what, in the next 9 months, you going after that trip will grow you in some really amazing and beautiful ways. The other thing he really talked about was the vision, and we talked about that last week a little bit, but I really want you guys to clearly have that vision for Ireland. So that means, like, I bought a map that I have hanging in my office of Ireland. Today I put a lock screen on my phone that has Ireland on there, because if we don't know why we want it and we don't know how to get it with a tracker, it's going to be really hard to go after it. You have to know exactly what it takes to get there and be in tune with that as you go. So as I told some of you today, I am blessed enough to be with Carrie Dickey tonight. And it's just so fun to be with her, and we've been having great conversation. And I told her that Monday nights are when I have my team Zoom, and would she be willing to share some love? And she immediately said yes. And we've been talking about all of you and just where everybody is at. And I just talked about the fact of the belief, right? And having that vision, and you guys believing that all of you can do this and that you can have that Ireland trip. So Carrie is going, and for some of you, I think everyone on here knows who Carrie is, right? Yes, everyone knows. She is a Pro 11 with the company. She is the top of our food chain when you look at our genealogy in LifeVantage. And she's just such a beautiful, open-hearted, authentic leader. So what a blessing that we get to have her share with us tonight. Thanks, Carrie.
Oh, thank you. Move over. It's so funny. I just did a Bikram yoga class. My son is getting ready to go to Boise State, and he is so woohoo, go Broncos. I have never seen such an adorable community of people that are so fired up for a college team. Basketball, football, anything sports related. They're adorable. And my son is he just has a permanent smile on his face. So I'm really, really excited. And I am really excited to be here with Tanya. And I was asking her, like, what do you think would benefit these people tonight? And I just always go back to the same thing. I remember how I felt. I remember sitting at the feet of Stu Brody and my friend Malia Chapman. I was with Sharice Matthews. This is literally 25 years ago. And I remember looking around the room, like we were sitting on the floor, front row and center, because you know what, when you're front and center or as close up as you can be, you're really, really plugged in and you don't miss anything. And that's where I've spent my time in my life, is front and center. I want to be right at the feet of the people that are teaching me. And I'm not sure that everybody wants that, but that was what I always wanted. And I remember them talking about the fact that some people were earning $10,000 a month and $20,000 a month. And I remember Sharice and I knocking on each other. We were in our 20s. She was 21 when I met her. I was 31. And I remember thinking, can you imagine making $10,000 a month? Can you imagine making $20,000 per month? And I can honestly tell you that my vision was really, really small at that point. I just didn't have big vision and I didn't have big belief in myself. But I remember that I used to look around and say that, I know that this one's going to do it and that one's going to do it for sure. But the question I have is, am I going to do it? Do I have what it takes to get there? Is it possible for me? And I used to use, this is so crazy, but I used to use the moon all the time. And I thought about the moon. In Southern California, there are days and nights when the moon is so amazingly visible. Like I can see it, not only the sliver moon, just that new moon, but I can see the outline of the rest of the moon. And I've always been fascinated by the night sky and the solar system. And it changes so dramatically all the time. And I used to walk up to it was a spiral or like a staircase that went around. And I used to say to myself, like, I know this one's going to do it and that one's going to do it. And it's clear the Stu's going to make it. And Malia's already up there in front of the room. I don't know about me. But I used to say, you know what? I can't always see the moon, but I know that it's there. The moon is always there. And in Southern California, we have a tremendous amount of fog, especially during June and sometimes even July. We call it June gloom. Sometimes we call it May gray. You never know if the sun's even going to come out. But oddly, when you get on an airplane and go just above the clouds, the sun is shining. And I lived in Michigan for a while, and there was not a lot of sun in the wintertime, but you could get up above those clouds and always see it. And I don't know what metaphor will work best for you, but it's true that I constantly, all the way to Pro 10 and 11 and beyond, have wondered, do I have the ability to get there? And I would always say, I may not be able to see the moon tonight, but I know that it's there. And I would walk up the stairs and I would look out all the windows and look for it. And the nights that I felt the most shaky and the most worried about whether or not I could really do it, the moon was there for me. And then there were nights where I really wanted to see it, but I knew in my heart that I had what it took if I could only stay focused. And I knew the times that I really needed confirmation that moon would be there. And the other nights I would have to dig deep and see it even when it wasn't visible to me. And I would just say that if Ireland is something that you really want, I'm going to tell you, these companies do it right. I went when Callie Mott planned the trip with the last company. I was with Monavie years and years ago, and I did that trip. And it was really, really beautiful and really, really special. And I remember very specific events. I think it rained the entire time we were there, and I don't know when I've had a better time. It was just a historic trip for me. And it's not always, what you're seeing. It's not always where you're staying. It's the conversations and the events that happen along the way, the people that you meet and the experiences that you have and the stories that you share that are so special. If you have that, then you do need to do what Tanya said and pin it around your home and visualize what it's going to feel like as you're packing for Ireland, as you're making arrangements for your kids. What airport will you fly from? What's the time of year? What's the temperature? What can you count on? They do it right. And I've looked at the pictures. It is going to be astounding, just like it was when I went last time in 2000, I think it was 2008. So I encourage you, just because you can't see that trip right now does not mean that it isn't there. And just because you can't see the moon, and just because you can't see the sun behind the fog, I want you to know that it's there. In saying all of that, you have to build this business the way that resonates with you. And I like Facebook. I'm not super efficient on Facebook, but I can tell you what I am efficient at. When you tell me that you have a problem, I am going to log it, and I'm going to ask more questions. And if you tell me that a family member has a problem, I'm not going to jump right away and say, that is so exciting that your mom has MS, or I have just the thing. I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to log it. And I'm going to ask more questions, and I'm going to care. I'm going to imagine, what would it feel like if my mother were struggling with MS? Or what would it feel like if, I already know what it feels like to have a son that struggles with ADHD or addiction. What would it feel like to have somebody diagnosed with cancer? I have, and Protandim isn't meant to cure, treat, prevent, or mitigate disease, but we do know that when someone is NRF2 activated, they have a very specific response when they start to, or many times very predictable responses when their body actually gets what it needs. It starts to heal itself. And that can look like more energy. It can look like better sleep. It can look like a better mental attitude. And I know this after 8 years with this company and 8 years on these products. Thank you, God, that I've had them for 8 years. We know, very, very specific things happen. And me being 56, almost 57 years old, I can only say that my gratitude runs so high that I've been on these products that long. And I have stories to share. I tell people, if I could download my brain into yours, and if you've been here 1 year, 6 months, 2 years, 5 years, you could say the same thing. If I could download my brain, if I could download my brain into as to what I've seen over the last 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 8 years, it would blow your mind. I just got a call today, Tanya, a girlfriend, those ones are very, very slow to come, those best friends. And my friend Linda Taylor, I know she'll never see this Zoom, but boy, she's been a toughie over the years, a toughie. I think she's been signed up like 4 times. She's moved a bunch, different addresses. They've tried the products. They never took them. They were both diagnosed with Lyme. Her husband said it didn't work. I'm like, yeah, I know, because it has to be in your body to work. And finally, a month and a half ago, they were going out of town. They got 3 Vitality stacks after giving me back hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of product. They gave me all this product back. And of course, I was excited to use it and share it. And she called today on my way this afternoon and said, well, now Tony has told me you're going to be happy to hear this. He's having results on the Vitality stack. And I'm like, bing, big surprise, right? Finally, the best friend comes through. I didn't jump. I didn't get excited. Super mellow. Really glad to hear that. I didn't even ask what results. Why bother, right? I don't want to be too excited. But I'm just telling you, people are slow to come. They're slow to come. But I forgot about that. I'm going to be home Wednesday night. They're panicking. They're leaving Thursday for another trip. They're going to be in tow for a month and a half. And oh my gosh, they're not going to have my products. But she did all the small talk before, because it's been 4 times, she's tried these products and never could report anything phenomenal. So just like you guys, I have people that are very, very slow to come, but these products work. So I'm circling back, and I want you to share them the way that it works for you. And for me, it's always been about the product. If someone's broke, I'm going to share the business. I'm going to say, what do you know about residual income? What do you know about leveraged income? Have some very specific things. When it comes to making money, do you keep your options open? Do you love your work? What are you doing now? Is it creating leveraged income for you? When will there be a time that you can retire? Start these dialogues, but don't jump to the solution too soon. So we always say, Dale Carnegie says, make a friend and find their pain. He's written that book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And I'm not a huge fan of the title of the book, but I'm a huge fan of the content. And truly making a friend and finding their pain is what I'm really, really good at. And I don't find that I can do that as easily on social media, although people do. And I know that you guys have a product page. I know that you have a distributor page. And I'll tell you this, I don't want to, when they say, will you send me information? I don't want to have to figure out what to send. I'm going to put them into a group. I think that's phenomenal. But the follow-up is critical. The follow-up conversations are real. I mean, they need to look at the information. And then I would really encourage you to set a time to talk about what they saw, what grabbed your attention, what did you what did you look at? Because they may say they looked at something and they maybe looked at nothing, like my friend for 8 years, So I would say that meet people where they are and try to move them along the line. But the more action you have, the more you share on a daily basis with people with whom you come in contact, the better luck you'll have. Because you need to be skilled, and skills come when we use them. This is no different than playing the piano. It's no different than playing basketball. It's no different than swimming. It's no different than running. I remember after my second child, going out there and trying to run a mile was like the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And then within 6 months, I ran a half marathon with the baby jogger. But I thought I wanted to die when I first started running. So it's a skill. And if you ran a mile and then waited 2 weeks and ran a mile again, it would be bad. And then you run a mile in another month. You have to be consistent. And, some of you know that I'm working with Kyle Cease now, somebody out there that's just an amazing, amazing life coach and innovator. He's incredible. And all of the people with whom I've partnered, there have been 3 women my age, and all of them are on the products for various reasons. One of them is a distributor. And that's been in the last 3 weeks, because whatever I'm doing, everybody needs to know what I'm doing. Bringing a brand new nutritional product to market. Are you, nerve 2 activated? Do you know about, is your body nerve 2 activated? Do you know what it means to be nerve 2 activated? And do you know what it means to use nutrigenomics in your life? So I don't know what works for you guys. All I know is that you need to choose what works, what you feel good about, what is in your, not your comfort zone, but how you relate best. And you need to do more of it, because the more you do, the better you'll get. Is there any question anybody have a question? I mean, I feel like I'm just, I have this vision of you're like, wah, 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 wah. I don't want to be that. I hope that something I've said is helpful. And maybe, do you want to take a few questions?
I just wanted to add to some of the things that Carrie said.
Okay, perfect. So I'm like, how long was that anyway?
So I have this quote, and it says, press pause on what you're thinking so you can press play on what someone else is saying.
Oh, boom.
Yeah, and it just kind of resonates with what Carrie was saying, you guys. I remember when I moved to Idaho, shortly after my move, worried about my list and who I knew. And my list isn't very long today. But the one piece of advice Carrie gave me was get out. Get to a gym. Go to the grocery store. She just said, get out. And I know a lot of us are in that situation today where we are looking to regain that list. And it is so easy when you're going after something so big like a trip to get in your own way and want to solve their problem right away. But like Carrie said, sometimes it's a slow burn. You want that relationship there, right? Your business grows at the speed of trust. You want them to trust you. You want to be that listener. And that may not happen right away. But if we stay consistent, you're going to build that belief in yourself so that next person you talk to, your energy and your signal is that much higher. And then you have a better chance of having someone that wants to hear more right now, right away, right? So I just thought that was so good.
No, it's huge. It's absolutely huge. Listening is critical. People don't listen today. They just don't have time. I'm watching these young people here in Boise and beyond, including my son. They say that these kids are literally in front of their phones 9 hours a day. Oh, that is such a frightening statistic, but it's really true. I mean, their phones are their best friends. You guys, if you could be different and be somebody that actually asks good questions and listens to the answer without jumping in, you will be so unique. And couple of the things based on what you just said, or we were at the barbecue together last week, you mentioned, you talked about your mom, you talked about your husband being laid off, and it wasn't the time for me to bring it up. But based on what you said that day, I seriously I feel like I'd be a bad person if I did not share something that I've been involved in for a number of months now, or a number of years now. Based on what you said, about your health, I feel like I'd be a bad person if I didn't just share I have a potential answer. Like when you talked about your health, were you venting or would you be open to a holistic solution? Were you wanting support that day, or if I could share something that might be of benefit, would that be of interest to you? Or do you consider natural solutions? No kidding. I was talking to a guy the other day. It's just so weird. I can tell by asking a few questions whether or not someone is somebody that I want to go further with. And this guy told me I said something like, wow, you've had an infection. And this is just somebody that was potentially going to rent my apartment. I'm going to buy a home. And he was going to, and this just happens every day to me. Everywhere I go, no matter what I do, I'm always thinking business or products. And he said something about I've been sick for like 6 weeks. I've had this head cold. And I said, really? And he said, yeah. And, I took 1 course of antibiotics. Well, I got another. I said something about a natural solution. And he said something about, well, I got 1 course of antibiotics and then that wasn't strong enough. So I got another one. And that seems to be knocking it out. Well, what I know is most things are viral. And that if the antibiotics didn't hit it, it's a good chance that it's not bacterial, that it's viral. But a guy that is searching for answers right now, and his answer is antibiotics, is not likely to be interested in nerve 2 activation, especially when I threw it out there and he didn't pick up on it. I also have a therapist that's been working on my knee, and he's shaking in a very odd way, like telling me the beginnings of potentially dementia or Alzheimer's, like no kidding. Or what's the one, Parkinson's. And I said, you have helped me so much with my knee. I have something natural that I would love to gift you because I can. And he didn't even pick up on it, just marched straight through. There's not a day that there's a person in front of me that I'm not throwing out little things to see what they pick up on. It's a fishing line. My sons fished on the end of the San Clemente, the pier. They don't fish now, but they used to. And I always said that Ian, I don't know what it was about my kid, but that kid could always catch a fish. And all these older guys on the pier would be like, what is that young man using for bait? And I'm not even sure it's a good analogy. I just know that Ian could pull him in. That kid knew what to throw on the line. He knew what the fish wanted, was to see something, that ADHD really served him. And these older guys that just threw it in the water and stuck on whatever they stuck on. Ian had 4 different kinds of bait. He was always trying something new. Think about fishing and think about what it is that you're just trying to find a common thread. So become a good listener. You don't even have to talk about it. Just think, if I were going to talk about it, what would I latch onto, and latch onto it tomorrow or in a week? I thought I've been thinking about you for 3 days. After that conversation at Target, I just couldn't, I needed to come back to it. And I feel like I'd be a bad person. You talked about the fact that you've been unemployed for 6 months and that you just don't want to go back to work. You really want to stay home with the kids. And I didn't say anything that day because I didn't want to jump down your throat. But boy, it's come back to my mind 5 times. And I think, I'm being urged to ask you, when it comes to making money, do you keep your options open? Do you get how soft and simple and you can be consistently considerate and care about people's feelings if you just listen and put them on your list? So I don't know. Is that helpful?
Yes. It's not calculated, right?
It isn't calculated.
It's not calculated. Carrie's just being Carrie, and she's logging, like she said, what they're saying. I think this is so helpful for everybody. And I hope you guys are also picking up on the fact that Carrie also gets no's. Okay?
Yes, I do. I get people that are so clueless. And I try not to judge them. Mm-hmm. Like I just let them go, right? All the time. I get people that are so clueless in my book.
One other thing, I know you kind of mentioned it before, but I think one thing we all get hung up on a lot is when someone says, what do you do?
Oh, what do you do?
What is your go-to for that?
Yeah, but for me, what do? I say I have my own business, and I do say I'm bringing a nutritional product to market. It's an Ayurvedic product because to me, if someone knows what Ayurveda is, first of all, they're going to be massively interested. It's Indian medicine, green tea, turmeric, milk thistle, ashwagandha, bacopa. But I can also say I've built a business from home that creates residual income, leveraged income. I'm really grateful I did, because my kids have really needed me. You know, you can throw something out that's attention grabbing. You know, I built business from home, and I always say my flip-flops, flip-flops or Ugg boots, shorts and a sweatshirt, depending on the weather. But I build from home, and I'm bringing a brand new nutritional product to market. Do you know about Nerve2 activation? What do you know about a Nerve2 activated body? You know, and that's mine, because I mean, that's just real, because I'm really interested. I'm very interested in working with people who have an interest in health and wellness. I just haven't seen that many people in my organization that don't have an interest in health and wellness really taking this all the way. Now, I know they're out there. I really do. I mean, I know Amber Swanson didn't have a clue about Nerve2 activation. I don't think Bert Du Bois did. I don't think Greg Deeker did. There are people, but for me, because I do, you know, I said to my son, dude, do we have to go to dinner tonight at orientation, or can I get my yoga in? So in a foreign land, Boise, Idaho, I got online. I'm like, hot yoga. I'm desperate for a workout, and I'm desperate for a green drink. So I'm like grabbing green juices and getting my yoga in. So like, to me, I want to work with people that think like me. Maybe you guys don't think like that. Maybe you're not that extreme, and that's okay. But however you think, you're in the business of duplication. Go find people that think like you. So who were you? What did someone say to grab your attention? How did they get you? And go find people like you. And I've duplicated myself, and almost all the people on the medical advisory board are on our team here at LifeVantage, because, you know, in our group, starting with Stu Brody down, because we have become a very product-focused group. And I'm not ashamed to say that I have 200,000 people in my business and 25,000 distributors. I mean, I'm pretty proud of that. Like, there might be people who say, oh my gosh, this girl only has 10 to 15% distributors, but I'm delighted about that. That 10% is rocking. And all the other people who don't give a rat of making money, just want to look and feel better, I'm very good with that. Does that help? Like, what is it that someone said to you that ignited and excited you and grabbed your attention?
Would you tell us how much you do every month in volume?
Yeah, 4 million a month. And who knew? I mean, like, I was very involved in the first 3 million, very involved. And then I got divorced, and there's nothing like divorce to like take you out at the knees, even when it's your idea. It's not fabulous. And it's been the toughest 2 years of my life. I wanted to jump off my deck the first year, and the second year has been slightly better. And I'm learning, and I'm on the fast track to personal development, but it has not been an easy year for me to like really rip and tear. And I'm just saying, God has not put people that want to build at the speed of sound in my life, because I've been running for 27 years. So I talked to people, I've signed up a ton of people, tons, and people have not taken hold, but I know that's by design. But it doesn't mean I stop. I'm telling you, I have a new distributor, Heidi Maglesby, that got in just 2 weeks ago with a gold, and I didn't jam her into a platinum. I could have, but it didn't make sense for her goals. It just didn't. So, you know, I said, do you care about 2 tickets to convention? She said, no, I care about 1. And she lives in Utah, so she's going to go. But she wasn't even necessarily going to do a pack. I said, I think it'd be a good idea. She's a doTERRA distributor. You guys go where the fish are, really. If you go somewhere where people are trying to better themselves, like I'm involved in the Kyle Cease thing, I don't care who it is. When I tell them I have a product, they're like, tell me about that, because they're open-minded. If you go somewhere where people are learning about money, you know, if you talk to somebody about having read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, you're going to have someone that's way more interested in leveraged income than someone who says, you know, who's Robert Kiyosaki? And no, I'm not really interested in that. Ask the right questions, and you will be led to the right people.
I love that.
Does that make sense?
I just want to say one more thing, and I'll get to your question, Sherry. So the first 3 million, did you ever change your presentation of what you shared?
No, I'm sorry. No, I didn't. I still haven't changed it. I'm wondering, like, maybe I could set the Guinness Book of World Records on how long you don't change a thing. And you, but I still had results. That's how I got Tara and Rachel in the business 2 years ago. Heidi Magleby 2 weeks ago, watched ABC Primetime. It's the Mark Shinsato one on YouTube. It's the same exact one. And she was fascinated. I took her to PubMed, showed her the studies. That's all I do. ABC with the update, took her to PubMed, took her directly to the PACS. I just went lifevantage.com, scrolled right to the bottom, opportunity PACS, took her to the income disclosure. And it's not even my income because I'm too embarrassed to talk about that fat income now because it's just ridiculous. I mean, I'm not saying I don't love it and I'm not trying to jinx it, but no one believes, I mean, it's a little off the charts now. So I was really like, you want to talk about when I was vocal? When I made about $5,000 a month, I was so obnoxious. I would tell guys that were out there making $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year. I'm like, dude, I just made $5,000 this month in network marketing. Are you kidding me right now? Because if I can make 5, I can make 50. If I can make 50, I can make 100. But then the more money I make, the quieter I got. So it was really, in fact, I think like 2,000. I was really borderline obnoxious. It was 2,000 a week that I was just crazy. And then I got much, much, much more quiet as I went along because like, really, do you need to be screaming from the mountaintops? Somebody might, kidnap you. So I was really, really, really loud and obnoxious when I was right around, 5,000 a month. I was obnoxious.
What are you approximately?
A lot. I don't know.
I thought I'd try.
Come on.
Guys.
You can look at the Pro 11 income and I'm way off the charts. Wow. So I used to be even like, average. And I said, I'm an average an average Pro 10. Now I'm way off the charts at 11. But you know what? I didn't do that. I did the beginning part, but people I'm totally sweating because I do get embarrassed when I talk about the money. But it's possible. I mean, it really, really is. You have to stay super focused and I used to be afraid, you guys, on these holidays and stuff, when there was a holiday or like if I needed to go somewhere like I'm here with Cameron and I was going to have a day, I would be so afraid. I'd be like, I wonder if I'll ever start again. Like if I stop, will I ever start again? But the truth is, I love it. I always start again because someone always gives me a reason to start again. There's always a sick person. There's always a broke person. There's always somebody that needs what I have, whether or not they know it. It just is a matter of uncovering their wants and needs. And then they have to have vision. And most people have zero vision. Zero. Really. I mean, I was telling Tanya earlier, we're at the college and my son's like, Mom, everyone's so shy. They don't even talk. And Cameron's like really out there now. He's gotten some really big vision in the last year. And he had some big tragedy, with our family breaking up. It was really hard. He had a lot of growth to go through. And I'm like, baby, you know what? You'll meet the people that have gone through the growth. You'll meet the people that have had to go out there and make money. My son is really, he's really had a hard year. And I'm grateful for it because pain grows us. So put yourself in a little pain. Put yourself in a little bit of uncomfort and it will grow you. And I was uncomfortable for decades. That's why I've made this money. In fact, I have a book half written called My Journey to Venus. You guys would die if you knew some of the crazy, stupid things I've done to get here. Crazy. So anyway, you just have to be in pain a little bit.
You used to waitress, right?
Yes.
You didn't come from.
No.
Yeah.
Waitress, fitness instructor, bartender, personal trainer. I was so broke. Oh my gosh. I ate half a tuna fish sandwich and a carton of milk every single day. My first job was $15,000 a year, and that was before taxes. And so I had rent of $665, a car payment of $325. I had no money after that. I don't even know where I got gas money. I don't remember. So maybe tips. I'm telling you, it's much more fun not being broke. But I still drive a Mazda. It's got 50,000 miles on it. I'm very happy with that. I did finally buy a home, and it's, a third of what I can afford, but I'm a moderate kind of girl. I like to be comfortable, and I like not to have to fear about money, but I don't overspend. I just don't feel comfortable. I don't need any more. I think it's irresponsible for me to do that. So I don't know. How did we get on that?
Well, but another great piece of advice you gave me too, Carrie, was, which unfortunately I think I got it too late, but to save the money that you make in the beginning. Don't allow it to become a part of your lifestyle right away.
Well, that was from a book I read, that if people actually took the money they made in network marketing, like Tina Aaron did up in Sioux Falls, and never spend it, it's been unbelievable. I mean, I remember she had $65,000, like, I want to say 5 years ago, or 65 grand, because they never spent the money. And now I can only imagine, I mean, they lived on what they had been living on. And she said, we're moderate people, but yeah, I would say be very, very, just don't, I mean, there may be people that absolutely have to have it, but if you don't, live on the money that you've been living on, because it can add up. And then you have a story. And Jim Rohn says he was very attached to his story. I worked full-time on my job, part-time on my fortune. Have a story. Everybody has one. If you've read my book, Network Marketing, The View from Venus, you know how important your story is. Got to have a story.
Thank you. So we have one question from Sherry, and she said, what do you suggest to help with personal growth?
Ooh, what do you suggest to help with personal growth? Well, it depends on if you have read network marketing stuff. You guys, it's all about vision and belief. That's what Tanya said. And Eric Worre, I'm not the biggest Eric Worre fan in the world, being honest, because he's okay. He's good. I mean, he's just not like, he doesn't continue to blow my mind, but his beginning stuff is really, really good. And that book, did I say all that really just now? Anyway, there's a book out there called, what's this book? GoPro. I like the audio one, because it talks about why network marketing, and it gives you all the reasons why. Like the one I remember off the top of my head is that if you are a surgeon, you are a laborer. And I'm sorry if you're a surgeon on this call, but you're a laborer. You cut a leg, I'm going to have to get surgery on this knee sometime. And my surgeon can only do X number of surgeries a day. Just like a tree trimmer can only trim a certain number of trees a day, right? Or an appraiser can only appraise a certain number of homes a day. You're a laborer. He's cutting bones and putting in mechanics, just like a mechanic is doing on a car. When you understand that book is so helpful. My book is helpful. That first part about the myths in network marketing. Jim Rohn, I love How to Build Your Network Marketing Business. It's available online, the audio CD. On YouTube, yes. So if you haven't read Robert Kiyosaki's Cash Flow Quadrant, I really think you should. If you haven't read Your First Year Network Marketing by Mark Yarnell, and get the Cliff Notes, not the big one. But if that stuff, you need to get personal development in network marketing. If not, there's The Big Leap. I love that one. That is an incredible book. The little fish jumping into the big fish bowl. I love that one. Well, I could go on and on about personal development books, but I love anything. I'm kind of in a different vein these days, but Wayne Dyer. I love anything Wayne Dyer. Anyway, just, you know what? Go online, John Maxwell, go online and anything. I love all of Andy Andrews' books. Yeah. The Traveler's Gift is an amazing one.
Does anyone else have a question before we wrap it up?
I have one, but it has to do with Boise State. What is your son doing here? Why Boise State?
Cameron's always a little renegade. When he was like 2 years old, he decided 8 was his favorite number, and the Broncos, the Denver Broncos, were his favorite team because he loved blue and he loved horses. And one day he's just like, I want to go to Boise State. And literally he came up here and stayed with Tanya. He still talks about that. Oh my gosh, he loved it. And she said something about, have you been to the coffee shop? What's the name of it? Something Brothers?
Dutch Bros.
Dutch Bros. Have you been? And he went into Dutch Bros, and this lady gave him he tells everybody here that this lady gave him a cup of coffee and said, this cup of coffee is on us. Thank you for coming to Boise, and thank you for checking out Boise. And he tells everybody, that is why I paid very close attention to Boise. I think Cameron likes the idea of going far, far away and having this is his turf. His friend Ethan went to U of A. Someone else went to Boulder. Someone else is staying local. Cameron wants to go to Boise. He wants the Broncos. He loves blue. And he loved the lady that served him the cup of coffee. And he has followed his intuition. And I don't know. That's all I can say about that.
That's so awesome. I love that story. And I love Boise State. I've only been here about 6 years, but it is like, I've never felt such a connection.
You never hear anything negative about Boise, ever, or Boise State.
It's amazing.
The cutest things today. The welcome, I'm like, I don't remember being welcomed like this. And everybody just being so gracious and so, he's so happy. It's so cute.
So we've got one more question, then we'll wrap it up. See this beautiful redhead right here?
I do.
So she says, how does Carrie suggest that shy people get out of their own way?
You have to ask yourself every day, what could I do that would put me outside my comfort zone? And I'll tell you this, the way I did it, I was in Southern Living at Home, and I don't know how to decorate my way out of a paper bag. I seriously don't know how to decorate. And I'm like, those girls were not my friends. The ones that were the decorators, bakers, that just seemed, I don't know, they seemed out of reach to me. And I hung out with the fitness queens, people that were screaming in front of the room, the fitness instructors. And I was like, I need to figure out how to connect with these ladies because I want to do parties at their houses, because I really think this seems like a viable way for me to make money without having to, leave. I don't want to go. I don't want to work. I don't want a real job. I don't want traffic. I don't want a boss. And I literally found the compliment to be my ticket out of shyness. I am such an introvert by nature. And I was the shyest little kid you have ever met in your life. That I found out that, it was my birthday when I was in first grade. They were celebrating some other kid, and I sat in back of the class and cried the whole time. Never told anybody it was my birthday. My mom says I was the shyest person ever on the planet. But that compliment seemed to help me out of my stupor. I would literally, and I still do today, when I'm nervous, I was really nervous sitting in this group of people at this table, especially, I'm the only person without a ring on my finger now. I was the only divorced person sitting there. And who knows about their lousy marriages? There may be lousy marriages around that table. There could be alcoholism around that table. There could be, beatings around that table. I'm just saying, I'm not delusional and think that everybody has a perfect life, but I'm sitting there, I don't have a ring on my finger, and I'm a single mom, or not a single mom, I'm a single person. And I was nervous. And I've always, if I'm nervous, then everybody must be nervous, truly. And I just thought, I found things to compliment people on. And it's about getting outside your comfort zone. And I used to just be in line, and I would find something to compliment. And if I couldn't find anything that was authentic, I wouldn't do it. So use the compliment. Find people and practice complimenting. Just do it. Don't go out to find a new distributor. Don't go out to find a customer. Just go out and practice getting out of your comfort zone. It's easy to find someone with a beautiful head of hair, with a cute pair of shoes on, with a great purse, with a great smile, with a great rack of teeth. Find something, beautiful eyes. Find a guy that has a great pair of shoes on, a great tie, a full head of hair. It's easy. It's easy. I was in the bathroom with this lady, and I said, man, look at me. I'm hair challenged. I said to her, you should give me half of your hair. People love a good compliment. So find a way to compliment people and get out of your comfort zone. Just do it, because it'll not only make you money, it'll make a life. It'll make you so much. It'll make your life better, Liddell. It will. You'll get better at it. You'll be bad before you're good and good before you're great. And you're going to make somebody's day. Really.
Liddell,
Look how cute the husband is.
I know.
Oh,
he
so
believes
sweet.
in her so much. Liddell, I just want to say, too, to add to that, when I first met Carrie, it was like a week after I'd signed up. She was out in Colorado. And I went to a home meeting she did. It was in a basement. It was like Carrie, Michelle, me, and like 2 people, right? And I remember looking up at Carrie, and Carrie had said something, looking for feedback, and I wanted to talk so badly, but I didn't, because I was so afraid of like what she'd think. And she'll say today, like, she saw a deer in headlights. Like,
unrecognizable.
Not a lot of hope for me at all.
No hope. Zero. Nada. Like, there's no way this girl's going to do this. You don't know what's in someone's heart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the thing was, for me, Liddell, my vision of who I wanted to become was crystal clear. My vision was crystal clear. So really tune into who you want to become as well, and keep following those people. And I did, like, my first meeting that I did, I pretty much cried through the whole thing. If I get on calls, I cried through the calls. Like, I cry. I mean, I know I still do. I don't need any feedback here today. I was always crying because and it wasn't crying of fear. It was crying because I knew I was doing those things that made me uncomfortable, and they were making me better. So it was tears of pride. So proud of myself for doing those. And you have to be unafraid of those, because it does get easier. It really does.
And when you're doing something that's out of your comfort zone, tell people. Don't try to fake it. Say, I am so nervous. You know, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm up here talking about the products like I am having an out-of-body experience right now. I can't believe I'm talking about the business. I cannot believe I'm talking about my results. It's so hard for me to stand here, because I know you guys are looking at me, and I'm so afraid I'm not going to know what to say, but I know that I have to do this for me. You think someone's going to be mean to you when you've been that authentic? And they're going to be like, oh my gosh, if she can do it and say she's scared, then I can do it. And that makes you relatable, and then you can become a better leader.
Yeah, awesome. Okay.
So next week, Liddell is doing a conversation on the products.
She said it, not me, Liddell.
You're just your story of what happened with you telling you guys, that's what you got to do, is put people forward. Give them a little assignment, put them forward. Always put people forward. You know, they're bad before they're good, good before they're great. They're scared to death. I mean, I'll invite people on the Monday call, and they're like, I was terrified. And I'm thinking, really? They were terrified. But then it was like, but it was kind of fun. You know, I was terrified, but it was kind of fun. So do something that scares you, and it'll be kind of fun.
Awesome. All right, you guys, we will close this out then. Hasn't this been amazing? Amazing. So many amazing nuggets. So make sure you share this with your teams. I'll post this. We will close out in prayer, and then we'll end the call, okay? All right. Heavenly Father, I just thank you so much for the mold in which you created Carrie, and the fact that she is just living to her utmost potential. I know when that day comes, Lord, and she meets you, that you will be able to tell her, thank you for using all the gifts and talents that I've given to you, and that she's blessed so many of us. And I thank you for all the blessings she's given to us tonight. And then I pray, Lord, that everyone on this call tonight as well knows that their mold is just as unique, and that they have talents and gifts abundantly that you have placed within them to share with so many people, and that their day can come as well, where they can visualize themselves speaking like Carrie did tonight to a whole team of people, inspiring and changing lives and helping them to live to their utmost potential. We just thank you, Lord, for Carrie and Cameron's safe travels, for Cameron's decision. We just pray that you watch over them in the next couple days, keeping them safe, and that you open the right doors for Cameron, and that he walks into those, Lord, and accepts the blessings that you have for him. And I just pray that all of us on this call tonight, same thing, Lord, that we recognize the doors you open, that we walk into them as just as scared as we may be, but that we see and accept the blessings that you have for us so that we can live the greatest life possible. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen.
All right. Love you guys. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.